This is question number 25 of practice homework 6. This corporation earned $19 million for the fiscal year ending yesterday. So immediately this refers to the current earnings, and the firm also paid out 30% of its earnings as dividends yesterday. And the firm will continue to pay out 30% of its earnings as annual end-of-year dividends. The remaining 70% of earnings is retained by the company for use in projects. The company has 1.5 million shares of common stock outstanding. The current stock price is $98. The historical return on equity of 16% is expected to continue in the future. What is the required rate of return on the stock? And the rounding requirements do not round in intermediate calculations, and to answer as a percent, round it to 2 decimal places. So to link the questions together, first it's helpful to put all the information down to the worksheet. The first one is the earnings, and this is 19 million, just to put this unit here. And for that, we can also immediately put the number of shares outstanding, right? Because we can then calculate the earnings per share. And so this is, I guess, 1.5, right? 1.5 million shares. Hence, earnings per share, or EPS, is going to be the 19 divided by 2. Oh, this 2 here is should not be in currency. It's just a number, right? It's not 2 actually. The reason it's 2 is because I kept 0 decimal place. But you can see once I change this to be general rather than the currency, and then it goes back to the number which we just put 1.5 million shares. So this earnings per share, I do want this to be in currency, and this is basically on a per share basis, and payout ratio is given to be 30%. Right, so from that, we can determine the D0, right, which is the current dividend per share, which will be earnings per share times the dividend payout ratio. And then just double check this is 30%, yes. And then the other information I will need, from that I can calculate this as small b, which is the profit retention ratio. This ratio will be used to calculate the growth rate of dividend later. So this is simply 1 minus the dividend payout ratio. And then I do want this to be in percentage format. And then go back to the setup of the stock price. And this is P0, or also V0, intrinsic value of the stock. And this is 98 shares. Sorry, $98. $98 per share. And historical return of 16% will continue forever. So why do we need this ROE and ROE here? The reason we need that is because we know the relationship between the growth rate of dividend ROE is that growth rate of dividend equals ROE times the profit retention ratio. Right? This actually goes back to section 3 when we talk about the sustainable growth rate. Sustainable growth rate is ROE times B divided by 1 minus ROE times B. So this is very similar. And then from that, we can calculate this small g, right? This equals ROE and then times this profit retention ratio. And then how can we link the other information together in order to calculate this this required rate of return, right? That's what the question is asking. So basically, This goes back to the formula for P of V, right? V0 equals D1 divided by R minus small g. And from that, we can solve out R equals D1 divided by V0 and plus G. So, and then the relationship between R, between D1 and D0 is that now R equals D0 times 1 plus G. Basically, this gives me D1. D1 equals D0 times 1 plus G, and then divided by V0. Divided by V0, and then plus small g. So I've basically, all the information have either been directly given or have been calculated. So G is calculated, and this D0 is also calculated, and then V0 is directly provided. So basically, I need everything in order to calculate this required rate of return. So that equals D0, and then multiplied by 1 plus this G, small g, and then divided by the stock price per share, and then plus this small g. So I want to change this to be in percentage, and then keep the number of decimal places to correspond to the rounding requirement 2, which gives me 15.51%, and check my work.